ex-wife going through a nasty divorce, and the ex-husband, or the ex-husband, burned down the house. And unfortunately, the story's true of the mother being killed, because it's the mother that is gone.
Are you two together? That was really good. That was brilliant.
It's kind of romantic, isn't it?
That's incredible.
Everlasting love.
That was incredible.
Hey,
everybody, hey.
how's it going?
Very well, thank you very much, Brian. How are you?
I don't know what it is about the global ghost hunt, the first video I showed.
It just looks cool, man.
I don't
Sounds
know what
cool.
it is. The music, the pictures, everything about it is just, it gets me every single time. For next year, hopefully we'll do something a little bit similar. And because obviously we can only use it for this year because it does say 2023. So,
it does.
Yes. And for the people listening on the podcast, all the
Thank you for sitting through all the ads that we do at the beginning of the show.
I was about to say that. My name is Bryan-jon and my partner here is Lex Paranormal.
Hey,
and we want to thank everybody that's listening through the podcast as well. We don't say thank you to those people really enough.
No, we don't, and we are trying to do better.
Yeah, well, we got so many things going on right now with this show. It's going everywhere. Like, we're even on Twitter now,
which is bad.
Yeah, for the people on Twitter, thank you for watching our show today. And if you not watching right now, well, why? And thank you to everybody who's going to watch the replays as well. We really, really appreciate it. But we have a great guest on today.
Yes, we do.
Shannon Michele Collins, who's an author, who's a model, who's a paranormal investigator. She seems to do it all. Something like me.
I know. I love your last model issue, Brian. Swimsuit edition, if I remember.
Yes, it was fantastic.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
it wasn't a Speedo. It was the man. What's that thing?
The mankini.
Mankini. Yes, I was wearing the mankini, and that was. And yes, people, you will never ever see those pictures.
Just everyone DM me. I'll send them to you.
Yeah, you definitely. Well, maybe some people might want to see them.
We know Patrol can make those pictures happen, can't we, Patrol?
Yes, yes, I can see what's going to happen. I can see what's going to happen now. I am going to get something in my messenger from Rob. He's taken a model shot and put my head on it. I can guarantee that's what's going to happen. The mankini issue, right? Is the centerfold. So yeah. So I get, I opened myself up to that one. I really did.
You did, but it was good.
No, but we had a great guest today, and I'm looking forward to having her on. I first saw her when she was on Howard's show, and I was really, really intrigued by her story and her book. And she has written a book. She is considered a channel writer. So all the poems that are in this book are from the spirit that was telling her these poems, I guess.
Which is awesome. I've never heard of anything like that before. So this is a new thing for me to hear.
Yeah, and that's why I was so intrigued by it, because I'd never heard of anything like that before. Like, obviously, you have your mediums and all those people that are out there, and they're able to speak to spirits, but not sharing their their thoughts, and Shannon's able to put it into poems, which I think is pretty amazing. And that's why I was so intrigued, and that's why I wanted her on the show. So we seem to have quite a few people in the room today. Matthew. Is that Matt?
No, I don't know.
Hi, Bryan and Lex.
Howdy.
Oliver Briggs, and I believe you did ask a question earlier.
He asked if you're coming back to the UK because they want a UK tour part 2. That's what they want.
Yes, there. Hey, Patrol, amazing video earlier, by the way. And who do you know Oliver? Lex?
I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm sorry if I do. Names escape me when I can't see the photos.
Yeah. So here's the question here. Bryan, when are you coming back to the UK? I was hoping to come back this September. Unfortunately, I won't be able to come back come this September because I have been asked to be a speaker at Fear Fest in September. So I will be going to that. But I was actually thinking of coming maybe in January or February of next year. Would probably be better because I know, Lex, that would be your slow period, right?
Yes, it should be. Yeah, usually is.
So that would probably. Oh, there we go. See, it wasn't Matt. It was another Matt.
Wow.
Another Matt. We are multiplying. So we also have Anthony in the room. And thanks for stopping by, Anthony. Appreciate that. So, Lex, no video on Friday.
No video on Friday.
So what's going on?
Well, there's this. It's a small minor error that hopefully I can work out by the end of the week. But I'm hoping that someone from Portal to the Paranormal can help me out with this. Basically, I'm just missing audio. I have there's a lovely scene in this video where Bryan does an Estes method for us, and we sent the Nando and everyone else out the room and made them ask questions in a different room. And I didn't think about that when I was thinking about, well, how am I going to get the audio for the questions? So I'm just working on getting that little kink out. But the rest of the episode is ready to go. It's just that, and it's a big chunk of the episode, so I just need that bit. But if not, I'll work my way around it. And it's a cool shot of Bryan in the video anyway, so he's looking forward to seeing that image. But that was it. It was just a small issue of missing a vital piece of the video that I'm working on rectifying, and hopefully if I can get it done by Wednesday, I will be able to get the video out by Friday this week instead of last week.
Yeah, well, last week, so that video was good. I really like how you did it. It was different. It was almost like one of those review shows.
This is what I thought about doing this time around. I was like, rather than, I'm not the best video editor in the world, so I thought, well, what's going to make it easier to make my videos look better without ruining the evidence and stuff like that? And I was like, well, why don't I cherry pick parts of it? And I've still got all the footage for if there's other stuff, so I can always do a video later on, like a revisit video, and talk about some other stuff that happens. But I'm just like condensing the videos down from how long we were there to 23 minutes. I was like, I'm just going to rush it and lose a lot of the viewership, and I think a lot of people would tune out because there's a lot of walking around and stuff like that. So I was like, well, let's do it this way. Let's pick it apart as I would when I review people's videos, and the way that I talk about the fake channels. Let's do that. Let's do it in the same format, but actually giving out real evidence rather than tearing someone else's down. But
yeah, and I thought that was really cool. I thought when I first saw it, I go, okay, well, this is different. This is different than what we normally see. And so for me personally, while watching it, it made it more intriguing. It made it like I wanted to stay and see what you were going to be showing next.
Yeah.
And that's what I liked. That's what I liked about the video. And it was different from, because let's be honest, there's a lot of videos that go up and they're generally the same thing all the time. And, some people might have some evidence, some people might not. And and I get it, but this way it was different. And I wonder if I'm starting to think maybe that's going to start a new trend. Than rather than just being at the, like, obviously being like showing the video and the evidence and all that stuff, but actually going to what you did. And I liked what you did because you did 2 or 3 different angles of your camera while you were sitting there. I noticed that, obviously you would do one side and then do the other side. I thought that was great. But I think it's just unique, and it's a better way of showing videos than the old normal way that everybody does. It actually put some thoughts into my head.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Well, I just wanted to do, I did it like I worked out when, I don't know if you do that, but when I finish editing a video, I sit there and watch the whole video. And if I myself have to turn the video off, then it's obviously going to be turned off by everyone else. And I think this is one of the first videos I've put out where I was upset that it was finished. Like when I did because obviously I premiered the episode, so I was watching it with people watching it with me. And at the end, it left me wanting more. And I was like, you know what? This might be the way forward, because I've never turned my videos off when I do the check back and see if it's all good. But there does get to a point where I'm like, oh, this bit's a long scene. There's a lot of dead space in here. There's a lot of nothing going on here. Yeah. So it was a different way for me this time. And I think I found my way of doing it going forward. So yeah, I'm glad you enjoyed it, but thank you very much.
I did enjoy it. And it made me go, oh, well, I'm really looking forward to next week. And that's why I put in the comments, when's the next one coming out? And then all of a sudden I got disappointed when Friday
in my inbox.
when Friday came along and there was no video.
Straight in my text message. No video this week? No.
Yeah, it's good. But you know, the anticipation for the next video. So people, if you have not seen Lex's new video that came out a week ago, you have to go check it out. It was really, really well done and well put together, in my opinion. And I think you're going to enjoy what he did. And oh no, what's this? Oh no, the feed drops. The feed. I don't understand what drops.
No, I don't know either. I hope it didn't drop. Otherwise, everyone's missed you talking nice about me.
I'm not sure what that means, Rob. But yeah, go over to Lex Paranormal YouTube channel and give a watch. And I think what was the video? It was only 20? No,
just under 20 minutes long.
Yeah, that's right. So yeah, go check it out. Great video. And
thank
hopefully
you.
The Global Ghost Hunt is done. I'm going to get to the videos, the 3 videos I have to do when I travel to the States. I'm not sure if I'm going to put in White Hill Mansion. So technically I have 4. But I'm not sure if I'm going to put in White Hill Mansion yet. I'm just unsure about that. But I have Octagon and Bobby Mackey's coming out. Hopefully after the Global Ghost Hunt, because we're going to step back for a couple of weeks. It doesn't mean you can't sign up and everything's going to be happy. You can still do that. So I'm actually trying to convince Shannon and her team to join for October.
You should do it.
There's a lot of great spots out there, and I think her team would benefit from it, but just like any other teams. Anyway, so other than that, anything else going on you'd like to share?
Not particularly, but I do want to thank everyone who did tune into my video last week, and the response I've got from it after not uploading properly for a year has been phenomenal. So thank you very much to everyone for giving me that feedback. It was great. Thank you.
Yeah, it was good. It was a good video. I won't say that very often.
Nice.
I will. Nah, I'm just kidding. So you want to bring up Shannon? Let's bring up Shannon.
Yeah, let's bring up Shannon.
Yes, let's. I've had the opportunity to speak to Shannon over the last couple of weeks, and she's a very, very nice person, and she's very down to earth. And it's a real enjoyment to talk with her and just get to know her a little bit more. And one of the reasons why I was doing it too, because of the show today, I wanted to find out a little bit more about her as well. So to let people know, her book is up on the Global Ghost Hunt website. So if you want to go over there, and you can click on it, and it will take you to where you can purchase her book. I believe her book is only $20. So it's not very much. So definitely, it's one of those things where I put it on the Facebook page. It's gotten a lot of views on the Facebook page. I put it on Instagram as well. It's gotten a lot of views on Instagram as well. It's one of those things where we're always talking about supporting each other, other groups supporting other groups. Well, this is the way to do it. Supporting Shannon and her, her book. And I'm sure once this book is done, once this, book is gone its distance, I'm sure she maybe write another one, or maybe she's planning to write another one already. But it's definitely going out there and supporting one another. This is the way to do it. And like I said also earlier, she is a channel writer. She belongs to a group called Long Island Paranormal Investigators, and she's also a model. So let's bring up Shannon and get the show started. And I will let you know she's in a hotel room, and she didn't make her bed. It's quite messy. So it's quite messy. So how are you doing, Shannon? Maybe you should turn the camera the other way so it's pointing towards the window.
No, look at my shame.
What's that?
Look at my shame. That's not. My bed is also quite messy, though.
Yeah, well, hey, listen, I don't always make my bed either. So it's, I try to get into the habit of when I wake up, I make the bed. But
I don't.
No, I know you don't.
Because I'm just going to mess it up later on anyway.
Okay. I never ever wanted to talk about this. Never ever wanted to talk about this. But when I stayed with Lex in the UK, let's just say Lex is not the cleanest person in the world.
When I'm in my own home, I can do whatever I please, Brian.
Yes, and that's true. And that's why I never say anything. But but great. Him and Nadine were great hosts, and I had a lot of fun while I was staying there. So how are you, Shannon?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. And you obviously are not at home. So whereabouts are you right now?
We're in Maryland and in Cheatham. I can't say that together.
Okay. So what's going on in Maryland?
So our team came to investigate the battlefield.
Yeah.
Well,
we're going to get into that because there's a little bit of a funny story with that. So I definitely want to talk about that. But Lex, if you want to get started, let's go. Let's get started.
Yeah, do it. So obviously, the one thing we would like to know, which we get this from everyone, it's one of my favorite things to learn about people, is what got you started in the paranormal? Was there like an experience you had when you were younger, or was there always an interest there? If you'd like to tell us about that.
So, when I was younger, I remember shortly after my uncle, it was my great uncle, I guess, my grandmother's brother passed away. And I had a dream that he was on my swing set and he was laughing like the Joker from Batman. It really freaked me out. So I woke up and I remember looking at the clock and it was like 4 something in the morning. And I see this man coming down the hallway and, I get scared and I like cover my, self with the blanket forever. And, which was probably 5 seconds, but it felt like a year and a half. And when I pull it down, he was still there and he kind of just like waved goodbye and like left. So, after that, I started having more and more experiences where I would see things or hear things or know things that I shouldn't have known. And my dad actually got me into the paranormal. He was very much into it and he believed me. And so he would ask me questions about it and stuff. It was really cool.
Right, it's definitely a cool thing to have someone believe you in your family when you get something like that. You see it all the time when no one believes the kids, and they really should if they've ever seen a horror movie. But no, that's that's a nice little story actually. I mean, hearing a Joker laugh would be crazy. That would be horrible. I think
that was a dream though, but that was really scary.
Yeah, I can imagine that would be. But it was cool that you got to see him sitting there and waving back at you, and to have your dad there. So if you were allowed to share it, if you're okay to share it, was there a particular thing that your dad had to go through to get into the paranormal, or was he just always into it as well?
I'm not sure. My dad was one of 10 children. His father was like a homicide detective and stuff. So there was a lot of things. They used to play pranks and pretend to be ghosts because they had like the secret hallways and stuff in the house. So they would go through and scare their sisters and stuff. So I feel like he was always just like a creep. Not in that kind of a way. That just sounded bad. But like a creepy guy, like horror, like he was into very old horror, so he got me and my sister into that kind of stuff and the paranormal stuff. But I don't know what triggered it. I know that he did have experiences. He said that he was a musician, so he used to play his guitar, and he would say that this little old lady would just appear, and he would play. I don't know. he would play guitar for her. So.
Oh, that's cute. Bryan, where have you gone?
I went like this with my hands and he disappeared.
And he just went. So we'll give him a moment. I'm sure he'll come back on in a second. I'm sure he did this last week as well, actually. He got kicked off last week for some reason.
Oh, really?
But we'll find. Is it the return?
I'm coming back.
I don't know if you've seen our show before, but we have a history of technical problems on this show.
You know what I did, and this is what happened. I downloaded something, and what did I tell you? As soon as I opened that door, Rob was going to do something.
Has he sent something to you?
No, I don't want to. You know, obviously, we're here for Shannon, but I'm going to show you something that's quite funny. Okay, so here you go. let me just remove this.
Matt, get that print screen, get it printed, but giving it away at the Global Ghost Hunt.
Yeah, so I knew he was going to do it, and as soon as I looked at my phone, I saw it. I saw a message from him, and it said a picture, and I knew what it was going to be about. So there you go. So, and I will let everybody know, just to make this clear, all that hair that's going on there, none of that's here. I am not hairy at all.
I remember it being there.
What's that?
I remember you being that hairy, Bryan. Just saying.
Okay. That's got to be. Oh, so here we go. So that's got to be used on the next thing. Yeah. Okay. So
Howard,
that was hilarious.
Have you seen Howard's comment?
There you go.
Oh no. God. For anyone on the podcast,
dear.
Howard is assuming that Bryan disappeared off the camera to go put Vaseline on his nips. And we've just shown the picture of the mankini thing for those listening at home. If you want to see that, if you want to, I don't know why you'd want to, but if you want to see it, it's on the YouTube video.
Oh, come on.
Oh,
that's
wow.
Funny.
Right.
That is very funny.
Oh,
but again, I want to make this very clear. I do not have any hair on my body. So that is definitely not my body. So, but anyhow, let's move on.
Oh.
So, and I mentioned, and I said this before, now you're in Maryland and you guys did, or you and your team did an investigation on Friday. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that investigation and what happened? Because it's actually kind of funny. So.
Oh, we are investigating the battlefield, and it says that you could be there until dark. Well, it wasn't dark yet, but the police came anyway, and they decided to question one of our poor members, and now he's on a list.
So, well, let me ask you a question. Obviously, I don't live in the States, and nor does Lex. Now, I've watched a lot of different videos on audits. So What list did he go on?
I don't know. It's like a list for the national parks or whatever, which he doesn't deserve to be on because it was still daytime. So obviously they're gonna try and get that removed. But yeah. So essentially, if he's at a national park and it happens to say close at dusk and it's just about dusk and there's a patrolman and he wants to pull him over for whatever reason, he'll get fined and he'll have to, pay a fine, I guess. And then yeah, it goes however.
What would the fine be?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how much.
Yeah.
But I think it's per person in the vehicle.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Oh wow. So why don't you tell us, did you guys get to investigate?
We did. I mean, we
all?
were getting during the daytime hours, and we were, and I also just want to say, like, we are respectful. We don't go in there being disrespectful or trying to provoke anything in a negative way.
Yeah.
But we were just, I was doing my automatic writing in the corner, and that was kind of cool. And we did get some stuff, but we have to go through all of the analysis, like the audio and stuff, because when we go, we record the whole time.
Yeah.
So from and then we go through and we see what we capture. And
yeah, it's interesting. Just going back to your story about your colleague there on your team getting that. We don't have that problem here about parks and stuff like that. Maybe that. Do you have that problem in the UK, Lex?
It's dependent, obviously, like not really with parks or stuff like graveyards or anything like that here. We get it with buildings, but that's about it.
But this was a battlefield too, so it's not really a park, right? So
that's why I think I think their main concern is relic hunters, and it makes sense. I'm not going to argue it. It's just that I don't think that they should have taken it as far as they did, knowing what he was doing, and being after the time that they said that they could be there. It didn't have a specific time, it just said after dark, and it was still daylight. So
yeah. Well, I'm going to apologize for what I'm going to say, but if there's any cops listening to this, podcast or watching on YouTube or anything, what's going on with you guys? Like seriously, what's going on with the cops in the States? They're brutal. Like I watch, like I was saying earlier, I watch. Have you guys ever watched any audits on YouTube and what auditors are doing? Have you ever watched any of those, Shannon or Lex?
I watched them.
Yeah, they're quite cool. Basically, what they're doing is they're going into these government buildings, post office, filming on the street, and people get upset when somebody's holding a camera for some reason. And so they'll go into government buildings, and then the cops will come and try to kick them out, and it goes against the First Amendment, and it's unconstitutional to be kicked out of a government building, especially when it's public. But the cops, like I would have to say 95% of the police, maybe it's a little bit less than that, they're just so rude. Like I said before we came on the air, like you give a guy a gun and a badge and they become a completely different person. And they come out with this persona of being the king. It's crazy. It's crazy. But so how was the investigation itself? Like, were you able to, did you hear, I know you got to go through all the footage and all that stuff, but did you hear anything personally with yourself? Or did anything happen that, you can talk about?
So like I said, I did a little bit of automatic writing. So I got a couple of names that we found out was relevant to the area, which was really nice to have that validation. So then we started asking them questions to see if we could get EVPs and stuff like that from them. I did hear what sounded like I don't know how to describe it, like a command. Like
Okay.
it was like a syllable like sound of a man, very loud. However, I don't know because I don't know the area, so I don't know what was around. So it may or may not have been whatever.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now with your group, do you guys do a lot of traveling? Like I know like you're in Maryland right now and you're originally from Long Island, right? So do you guys do a lot of traveling around with your team?
Yeah.
Or do you generally just stay within 4 or 5 hours of, where you live?
I think we go up to like 8 hours or whatever
Yeah.
because most people have full-time jobs, so they try and go on a Friday to Monday or Friday to Sunday, and
So do those videos go up on YouTube? Or do you
they're
put them up on Facebook? What do you do with those videos?
they go on TikTok. Some of them they're working on. We just switched website hosts, so we're just rebuilding our website.
Okay. Okay.
So they there and then go to YouTube as well.
Yeah. And I want to let everybody know if you want to go and follow Shannon on her Facebook page, and her links are below. It is Linktree. So you can just click on that and you can see where you can follow Shannon, either through Facebook or YouTube or wherever her links are going to. And I definitely want you guys to check out her book as well. And again, you can find that on her Facebook page, and you can also find it on Global Ghost Hunt website. It is on what page is? I believe it's on the haunted locations page. So yeah, I'm pretty sure it's on that page. So just go over there and you click on that and go check out her book. And if you can purchase that book, that would be great. Lex?
Yeah, so before we move on to the books and stuff like that, the book and stuff like that, I just want to ask you, obviously being an investigator, doing these investigations, as well as all the other stuff you do, what do you have do you have a certain piece of equipment that's used in the field that you're really fond of and you think is a really good thing for us to be using? And counter to that, do you think there's something that you see being used that you look at it and you just don't want it being used at all?
First, I want to apologize for my stature right now. I'm not bored or trying to be whatever. The sun is just blinding my eyes. I can't the window.
Yeah, you know what? I never thought anything of it, but now that I'm looking, now I'm going, okay, well, what the hell's going on now? No, I'm just kidding. So, yeah.
My favorite piece of equipment is a digital recording device. I do enjoy being able to try and capture spirit voices and hear what they have to say, especially doing what I do. I'm selfish, but I like to try and get validation for that kind of stuff. The types of things I feel like people take too much consideration for are the things that can also be set off by other things, such as like REM pods. Like there's things that you can set it off. I mean, I do love a REM pod. Don't get me wrong. It's so much fun. But as long as there's nothing in the area, like radio towers and shit like that, stuff like that, I'm so sorry, that can set that off, trucks going by and stuff like that. I don't know. I love
you don't have to say sorry for swearing. It's okay.
Okay. Well, I'm
you should hear the trucker mouth over here.
I have a tower mouth.
Oh, do you mean me?
Yes, I mean you.
I don't say rude words, Brian. I never curse.
Yeah. No, and I'm a huge fan of the digital recorder, the voice recorder, whatever you want to call it. I'm a huge fan of that, and it's interesting that you talk about the REM pod because I've mentioned this a few times on the show within the last month or so about the K2 meter. And I know a lot of people use the K2 meter, which is fine, but the K2 meter can be easily set off. It can be easily set off. And I just found out something really, really interesting, which I hope people are paying attention to when they're watching those fakers and they're using the K2, because you can actually manipulate the K2.
Yeah.
All you have to do is put a penny inside it.
Also walkie-talkies.
So yeah, walkie-talkies and the phone. And
Well, we spoke about the penny thing because I did it on a Faker segment a few weeks ago, didn't I?
yeah, and the interesting thing is, and what people might not think of, yes, the phone, but if you're side of home and you're near a modem for your internet, that can set it off too. Security alarms can set it off. The hydro box
All
can
those things,
set it off. What's that?
Wi-Fi, all EMF, all those things are going to set it off.
Yeah.
Even the obvious one that that fake channels definitely use is they just use a double-sided walkie-talkie and they just push the button down and it sets them off.
Yeah. And here's another interesting thing that people don't. I got in a discussion, it was probably a couple of months ago, with somebody, and they were using the K2, and they had their phone right there. And I said, well, is your you're using your phone as your camera and it's right by the K2. Oh, well, it was on airplane mode. Okay. What does that mean? Just because it's on airplane mode doesn't mean that it's not sending out signals to a tower trying to reconnect. And also the data that your phone gets, how is that sent to your phone? Just because you put it on airplane mode doesn't mean that it's shutting off everything. Even if you shut off your phone, it can still send out signals. It's like, I looked a lot into this, and people think as soon as they turn on the airplane mode, it's done. It's on airplane mode, so that's why the K2 is going off because it's something else. No, that's not the case. If you want your K2 to be a true K2 session, you can have anything around, and that means even including your phones. You take your phone, like, I know if you're by your phone, it's like, I think it's like what, 6 or 7 feet that you have to be clear of the K2 for it not to go off. But I just want to let you know, Shannon, there was something that just flew by your head, like right here.
Gross. Was it a bug?
No, it wasn't a bug. It was, I don't know what it was.
Ghost?
I don't know what it was. And what is the time? So 40, somewhere around 40, the 40-minute mark, something just flew by your hair right here.
Okay.
So it was white. Just, I don't know if anybody else saw it. But yeah, so you can easily manipulate the K2 as well. And the same thing with the REM pod too. Like, I don't know if people know this, but if you have a REM pod in one room, and if you're in another room, just happen to be in your, you don't have your shoes on, and if there's carpet, if you walk along that carpet, it can set off the REM pod in the next room. I understand that people want to use all these toys and all this stuff, but you got to be really, really careful, and you got to take everything with a grain of salt when something is going off. Now, for example, in the video that we showed before we came on live of me and Lex at the mausoleum with the cat ball, there were certain times during that time that the cat ball wasn't going off at all. It wasn't going off at all. It would be like 20 or 30 minutes, it wouldn't go off. But then all of a sudden we started asking the right questions and it started going off.
And it's good to note that we knew the answers to these questions for the most part, and it only went off on the ones that were yes, that we knew would have to be yes to be correct. And that was quite interesting. And we never moved them for the whole evening either. We just left them in the same spot for the whole time.
Yeah. So what I'm, like I said earlier, when I saw you a couple of weeks ago on Howard's show, I was really, really intrigued by the whole channel writer thing. How did that just all of a sudden happen one day, or is it something that you've always been able to do? How did that begin? And it's kind of a two-part question here. So how did that begin, and where did the idea come up to write a book?
Okay, so I have done it before in the past, and sorry, I used to do it under the with Peter Ferraro. He was a medium in our group, but he moved to Florida.
Okay.
He had helped me a lot in my beginning stages of when I joined the group, and I was trying to figure out what I was, who I was, and stuff. And then the channeling actually occurred by accident at one of our locations.
Okay.
And when that happened, sorry, I'm like having a moment. So the channeling happened at one of our locations, and when that happened, sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
I find it very interesting that you're having this moment right now, because there was actually something that flew right here, and it was something white. I don't think it was a bug. It was interesting. So what is, if you don't mind me asking, what is going on right now? Are you feeling something or something going on?
I'm feeling a little sometimes when I talk about it, it wants to come through, so I'm just trying to. Okay.
Take your time. Don't. It's okay.
So, we went to a location on the island that I live on Long Island, and we do public investigations there. And that
validation night, right here. Sorry, Shannon. Validation right here. What Matt's saying. He saw it too.
Okay.
He went back and saw it, and this
is a little weird. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So we went. We were there, and it was a quiet night, and so we started talking in like
What was that?
The light.
The light?
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's interesting? I always find it interesting anytime that something happens on a show. Something always happens on our show. First things first. I just not to put any. I know this happens a lot to you, because we, like I said, we've been speaking over the last couple of weeks, and I just saw a shadow in the back corner. I don't know if anybody else saw that. See, the patrol saw it too. He saw the flash in the left side. So there is a shadow right over your bed right now, but I'm trying to ignore it. So yeah, just continue. I'm sure they will understand that we're not doing anything bad here. We're just talking, and yeah. So interesting your life fell though. Are you okay to continue?
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
So we were talking in British accents. We were trying to,
Yeah.
As they came from that area. So we were trying to connect with them, and we were talking how they would have talked in the 1600s. So using phrases and such, asking them if they wanted food. And all of a sudden, I started channeling something. Okay. And I freaked out my group, and they pulled me out of the place before I could get rid of whatever I was channeling. I feel like it just attached to me because I asked it to by accident, because I said, show me what happened.
How do you ask that by accident?
Well, I had said, show me, what I do, just show me what happened to you. But I meant to say, tell me, because I felt so bad. I could feel how sad she was. And I was like, just what happened? Let's talk about it, And nope. That was an invitation, and my life changed. So from there, shortly after, I started getting these thoughts, and I had to write it out, and then it turned into poetry, and yikes. It turned into poetry, and so, okay. I'm so sorry. This is terrible.
No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. It's all good. So the book the book, for people to know what's going on with her book is full of poetry that the spirit, I guess, told you. And a lot of the things I know you've told me this in the past, but some of these words and some of these sentences that were coming out and coming to the piece of paper that you were writing them on, you would have to fill in some of the blanks and organize it and stuff like that. So my question to you, and I've been thinking about this a lot in the last couple of weeks. Why do you think this spirit or this person is or the spirit that's channeling through you, why do you think she wants it in poem form? Or maybe she's just trying to say something. Do you understand where I'm going with that question? It's just, I know you're putting it in poems, but is that what she wants, or is that what you wanted to do? Obviously, you asked her, I'm assuming, that you could do this. And so I'm just trying to understand the whole concept of the book and the poems and the spirit and all that stuff.
So the idea to write the book came from a very good friend of mine who, Brimstone, who had heard my poems, and he actually helped me publish my books. So I'm very grateful to him for actually believing my story and giving me the courage to share it, because I wasn't going to. And as far as why does it come out in the form of poetry, I looked into that, and it turns out that the person that she was in love with really enjoyed poetry. He actually went to Italy to study poetry, and he had his family inscription from the Ars Poetica book of Horace. Ironically, think twice before you speak. Just probably why he's so mad at me all the time.
So I find it really, really interesting that this whole channel thing started, and it's communicating through you, and you're writing it down on a piece of paper. Now, when this happens, does it happen anytime, or does it happen in your sleep, or does it happen when you're walking down the street? When does it generally happen to you, that when you get this stuff and when you're told this stuff?
It's not always on paper. Most of the time I have my phone with me, so I'm writing it as the thoughts come through. It can happen at any time. It happens mostly when I talk about it, or if I'm opening myself up lately, to investigate. So I've kind of tried to close myself up more, but I've been recently trying to reopen myself up.
Are you picking up anything now? Are you being told anything now?
No, I'm not letting it come through. I'm just very, I could feel her come out and then go back in and come out and go back in. And it's like bugging me out. And I feel like I look crazy. So it's making me nervous.
You're not. No, don't ever think you're crazy. Don't ever think you're crazy. A lot of things happen to a lot of different people. And, this is yours. This is your experience. This is what you go through. And people should be, people should be listening and understanding and not calling you crazy, because in this field everybody's crazy, but in this field, I think different things happen to different people, and what your experience is what your truth is. And that's why I wanted you on the show, because I think a lot of times people that hear this kind of stuff, they go, yeah, whatever, that's a load of crap. And listening to you talk about it, and the obvious passion that you have, and it's to me personally, I find it very intriguing. And I'm glad you're sharing your story with us. I'm sorry that you're going through what you're going through right now, but I'm glad you're sharing your story, because this should be out there. People should know what's going on in Shannon's life and how she's dealing with this, because I know there's other things too. And I know there's another spirit that's around you that doesn't necessarily like anybody. And now, correct me if I'm wrong, he doesn't necessarily like anybody around you? Or is he just, are you able to talk about him? Are you allowed to talk about him? Or do you not want to talk about them at all?
No, I can.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody a little bit about the other spirit that's around you, that you've told me about, that for me personally, I don't think he's necessarily, what I pick up, I don't think he's necessarily a very good person, for obvious reasons. If you wanted to share what you experienced with that, if you don't, I understand.
So when this happened, there was two spirits there. So there was a female spirit that attached to me, but the male spirit who was attached with her followed. But he's not
Okay.
attached to me. He comes and he goes. And he's very oppressive at times. And there have been times where he's laid on my bed with me, and I felt him playing with my hair. Something else occurred that I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have to share that. I kind of have an idea what that's, because I know you have shared it with me, and that's personal. That's something that you should keep to yourself. But and another reason why I'm getting you to talk a little bit about this, it's just because people that are not really in the field or really don't understand this are calling us crazy, calling us liars, telling us that we're nothing but bullshitters, and we're not. And this is serious stuff, and it's not something to be messed around with, especially the experiencing or the stuff that you're experiencing. And I have attachments here. I have like over 20 spirits here, and I had one on me for months on my back, and I think I brought her back from the UK, which kind of makes it kind of funny that I want to go back there, because I already brought something with me from there. So I don't really want to bring something else back, because I already have enough going on here. Like for example, and I talked about this the other night on somebody's show where I was talking about this, my dog that I've had for 6 months, every so often he'll get up, he'll look behind himself, like he'll look behind and then just take off, like something has touched him. Now I'm not necessarily sure if it's the child that's touching him, that is here, and she likes Max, or maybe it's the other one that's not very nice, that doesn't want me here and told me to get out the first couple of days I was here. And I actually have it on voice recording. She actually said, "Get out. I don't want you here." So, I think it's important for people like yourself, Shannon, that we share these stories, for people that don't understand, and people that think we're crazy, and when we're not. So, and I'm glad you're sharing it. And I know you're going through a lot right now. Was there an opening of a door that I heard?
Someone came in for a second.
Oh,
And
okay.
they
Okay.
dropped me food.
Oh, that's nice. There you go. You can eat after the show. You can eat right now if you want, if it's going to make you feel better. So, Lex?
Yes, I was wanted to touch on as well with the importance of you talking to us about your experiences. Like we've said it before, we are the paranormal is a legitimate scientific theory of the unknown. We don't know what we're dealing with. Even the ones that have done it for a while, they don't know. And it's good to have people like you on here that show that it is a fun field to be in, but it's not a game. I sit in front of a Ouija board every time I do this show, and people think it's just a laugh. But again, I mean, personally, for me, this is nothing for me. I don't mind these. But to the people that don't know what they're doing, it's a very dangerous thing to get involved in. And so it's good to have people on here that show the reality of the, I wouldn't say the worst side of this, but the not so friendly side of this field. It's good to see you, and the fact you're still passionate about it, even though you're dealing with this stuff. It's a really good message to send out to people. So thank you for sharing for us. But I wanted to touch on what has been what's the word I'm looking for? How's the reception been for your work amongst the people that you know personally and across online media, especially when it comes to having this kind of book out? Has it been positive from a majority of people?
It's been mostly positive.
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyone who says anything negative, go fuck yourself. See, Brian, I don't swear.
No,
But,
not at all. So I do have a question here from Jen Jacobs. She wanted to know if the person or the man that's with you, is he dark hair and does he wear a suit?
Not that gentleman. I have been told that I did have another male attachment to me, but I don't know him well.
There you go. And see, this is what I mean right here. Okay. This is what me and Lex are saying. You know, you're an inspiration to some people. And I think it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing that you share your story, you share your experiences, and get it out there. So when you are talking about it, you aren't getting nervous and you aren't getting upset and stuff like that. And maybe in some way you might be able to control it a little bit better down the road. And Lex is right. It's not a game. This is not a game. And I love these type of comments where, you know, he thinks you're an inspiration. And I think that's great. I think it's perfect. And that's why we love doing this show, because when people are out filming and you see their videos and stuff like that, you don't really get to know the person behind the camera or who's in front of the camera, because they're just dealing with the paranormal stuff and all those things. But us sitting down and having a conversation, people get to know who you are as a person. And there will be a lot of people out there that will really gel. I don't even want to say gel, but a lot of people will gel to you because they might be experiencing the same thing. And you know, I think it's great what you do, and I will be ordering your book for sure, and because I'm really interested in what the spirit had to say and getting the words on paper. And I think me personally, I think it's incredible that you did that for this person, that she had something to say. You put it on paper and now it's going out to the world for everybody else to see. And a lot of times when we go into these locations, we want to get those messages from those spirits because they might have something they want to say that they want to send out to the world. You know, and a lot of times I'll go into an investigation and say, do you have a message for people? And I always generally say that because most of the time they do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's great what you're doing. Anyways, Lex, go ahead.
Yeah. So, well said, Brian. So I want to try and steer us away from that just a little bit to get you back into a lovely, comfortable place. So I want you to take a nice little trip down memory lane and tell us about one of the maybe have you had a favorite investigation, or have you had a location that stands out to you as a really good time? You had a really good time investigating there.
Yeah, there's been a lot of places. I think one of the fun places, when I first joined the group many years ago, we went to Burlington Prison in New Jersey.
Nice.
And it was one of my first bigger location places. And we did have a lot of activity that occurred, and it was a lot of fun. That one kind of stands out to me, I guess, because it's one of the first bigger ones.
No. Now putting this comment up here, and she's actually mentioned it a couple of times. Jen Jacobs does a para retreat for women. She's actually doing one for men this year as well. And earlier in the show, she actually said she would love to bring you to the para retreat and maybe be a speaker at the para retreat. So she's actually sent you a friend request, and maybe you two can talk, and maybe you can do that. Maybe that's something you might want to do. So there you go, Jen. I put it up there for you. So yeah, so continue. Sorry. Or were you done?
I think we were done.
Yeah, were you done? Okay, so Lex has kind of asked you, what's been your scariest? What's been your favorite place? What's been one of your scariest moments or places that you investigated, and why?
Okay, so I'll skip the one that my book is about, and I'll go to the second scariest place.
Okay.
It was a house location. where a murder had taken place just a few months prior, and they were having such crazy activity that they had called us in. It wound up being like their tenants were murdered. Yeah. So before I even stepped foot on the property, I was like, ugh, like, what is this? Like, it was multiple houses. I felt like the energy was really, really bad. And it turns out all of those people had tragedies. This house was insane. We got so many EVPs of this poor woman. So we wound up doing like a cleansing and stuff like that on it. And I feel like it did help because we ran digital through the cleansing, but I didn't want to ask any questions. So I didn't want to prevent anything from going on, but we didn't get anything after that. But that was a really scary case. It affected some of our members pretty badly. One of our members was having nightmares. He had an attachment from one of the things, so he was having nightmares for a little while until it went away.
Yeah. Now, I'm curious. Do you do cleansings? Do you know how to do cleansings, or is it somebody else in your group that does it?
There's me and a few other people in our group that do it.
Okay. So a question that Lex, if you don't mind, I want to ask another question. Yeah. So what do you do to prepare yourself before you go into an investigation? Is there something that you do, like a ritual or something you say or your group does that you all do together?
Well, everybody has their own individual thing, right? Mm-hmm. So I personally, I am not of Native American descent as far as I know, but I really, really vibe with their spiritualism. And there's a Lakota lullaby that I really used to like that I can't listen to anymore since my attachment. But I used to listen to that. Now I kind of listen to like these Om chants, and it gets me into like a really good like mindset. And then I just try to ask my guides to protect me from anything negative entering near me or around me. But I also ask them to allow me to open up and be able to help if anyone has any messages or anything.
Interesting. Yeah, I think I don't know, Lex, I don't think you really have a ritual before you go in, or do you say something to yourself?
So I've got one now that I will be doing before I go to East Drive with Portal. Is I do have a new meditation technique that I do to change my mindset to keep me in the most positive and strong mindset I can be in to go into these locations. But I haven't done it yet. It's new. I've done it privately to myself, but I've not done it before an investigation yet, but I will be. Before it was prayers over my blessed medallion that I would do on the mornings of. So I knew that it was going to, or in the closer to the time period. So I knew I'd be ready for it. But it's only ever since we had the thing that might have been in my flat that I looked up maybe doing things to change my spiritual side of things to make sure that I have the biggest wall up against anything negative trying to bring itself onto me. So it's just whether or not it'll work for me, I don't know, but I enjoy it and I do feel good after I do it. So
yeah, I used to be perfectly honest, and I'm not really a church person. I never really have been, but mine was always, I would just say in my head the Lord's Prayer. And that's what I was doing for a long time. And until I got something following me home. And then a friend of mine who's a medium, he taught me how to do a protective bubble. Now there's a couple of different things that you can do. You can actually do the flower with the petals, or you can do it with the ball. I generally do it with the ball. Sometimes I'll do it with the flowers depending on the place. Just because I find that sometimes when I'm doing it with the flower, it makes it a little more peaceful, especially when I'm feeling something that's not necessarily very nice. That's when I'll get into more of the flower thing. When it's just a spirit that, is just a spirit that's there, then I'll get into the protective bubble stuff. But I try to switch it up a little bit. But I find it really, really interesting listening to people's stories on how they protect themselves before they go in. or what their ritual is, or if it's a team ritual or something like that. And everybody, I don't think I've ever heard anybody's are the same. Everybody does something a little bit different, and I find it intriguing. So, other than that, you want to get to your final question,
My
Lex?
funky doodle question, yes. This one was a tough one to try and word, to be honest.
This is the great moment of the interview. I'm always intrigued on what he's going to say. And sometimes it's funny and sometimes it's very long. So,
well, last week was difficult. I had to do it for 6 different people at the same time. That was a stretch, but
yeah, but it was good though. By the time you got to the 5th one, it was like, okay, let's get this over.
Yeah, I know. I rushed the last 2,
Yeah.
but well, actually, I only did 5 because was it Vicky? Is that her name?
Yes.
She wouldn't let. She didn't let me ask one. She just answered the question, so it's fine.
Courtney's right.
But
Courtney's
this
right.
one's
there
good.
You go.
This
Last
one
week was insane.
It was, Courtney. It was, and thank you for returning to the show once again. Great to see you in the chat. But I'll ask you this: imagine in the future, you have the spirits of multiple people giving you.
Oh,
did you just see that?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw it in front.
That.
I saw it in front of me.
It was in front of Lex this time.
It was here. I just saw it go with my eyes. I saw it, and on the camera.
Yeah,
that was weird.
That was weird.
I was not a fan of that. Anywho, I'll try and ask the question this time. Go away. Jesus, that's threw me right off. So imagine you had the spirits of many, many people, and they heard about this lovely gift you do, and that you have a talent for putting it into the public sphere like you do. And one of them gives you a story so epic that a director makes a movie about it. You win a Pulitzer Award. You win the Orpheterian Award. I don't know what the awards are called for books, but you win all these awards. And then I come along and I'm like, look, I'll give you all the money in the world to put my name in the cover of the book as a shout out, but you have to spend that money to investigate one location in the world. Where would you go?
Wow, that was really interesting. Where would I go? I would want to go. I honestly, I really want to go to Ireland, to England.
Best places.
I just want to go there so bad and go into all of the old castles and claim them as my own.
Well, there's that.
Maybe what I'll do is Shannon, if I'm going in January, February, maybe I'll convince you to come out with me and with all of us, because there's about 3 or 4 other groups that get together and we do all these investigations. What's that?
I'm poor. I need all of the money in the world. That's why he said the world would go with that.
Wow.
All right,
wow, that was good. That was good.
Let me just check if I've got enough there. Hang on.
So so what we're gonna do after the show, we're gonna do a GoFundMe account. On Shannon wanting to do her dream place in Ireland or the UK.
Well, I'm just hoping.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with a GoFundMe account. Everybody's doing it now.
Well, it's funny you're going to say that, Brian, because that'll be spoken about in the next segment, by the way. A little spoiler for you. But yeah, I mean, if you want to take all the castles for your own there, Shannon, you're probably going to be fighting off a lot of
I'll share them.
Tudorian people.
There you go.
Love them.
There you go.
Auction you off. Yeah, Brian, we'll auction you. That'll be fine.
Yeah.
That'll raise the money.
I have no problems with that. you people keep on saying it, but you're not doing anything about it. Jen says it, Matt says it, Ken has been saying it. Okay, I'm ready. I'll send you a couple of pictures and let's get it going.
We've already got one of you in a mankini.
Yeah. Wait a minute. For the people that missed the beginning of the show, here you go. I am to get that picture.
That is scarier than anything we've encountered on our investigations.
Because I'm not. I look nothing like that.
I'm not gonna lie. Do you know what really gets me about that photo? I'll tell you what really gets me. It's the shoes and the socks in the photo.
Oh, wait a minute. I didn't notice that.
He's still wearing shoes and socks. Look.
He is. My God. What's wrong with this man?
And they're proper shoes and socks as well. Oh, that's funny.
Who would, like, seriously, who would wear anything like that? Like, come
Borat.
on. What?
Oh, that's Borat would.
Well, yeah.
Oh, that's fucking hilarious.
It is hilarious.
Oh, it's making me cry again. Fucking hell.
So, Ireland or the UK? So, our goal now is to get Shannon over to the UK. Now, listen, this would be a good opportunity to get Shannon to the UK or Ireland. You go over to the Global Ghost Hunt website, you click on her picture, and you go purchase her book. There you go.
I'll be doing it
There you go.
because I actually really
I'm
want to read it.
purchasing
So
It's $20, right?
Right, it's $20 and then $5 shipping. And then I do have like another book I'm working on now that tells the actual story of what happened to me and to her, what she's told me to her. And then the next poetry book will be out after that.
oh wow,
Cool.
look at that. That's a whole load of them. I'll be getting them all. I'm a sucker for books. I love reading. I love reading, so I'm well into that.
There is the link. Oh, wait a minute. That's wrong.
I
That's wrong.
wonder what link you're about to post there, Brian.
That's wrong. This is the actual link. Sorry, I spelt it wrong. My typing absolutely sucks. There's the actual link. There you go. Of course, I could have just said it.
You
But...
could have just said it. But we're technical on this show. But everyone in the chat, you know what you're doing. You're all into the paranormal. You all love our guest. So go over there, get the book,
Please.
check it out.
Yeah.
Not only is it a really cool idea, but it's something that I don't think's been done that often. I've never heard of it. So own something that is very unique in the field of the paranormal. So, but also supporting Shannon here as well. But yeah.
Do you sign them, Shannon?
I do, if they
Good.
want me to.
Perfect. So there you go.
Sometimes I try and add little poems, like creepy poems, Oh,
dig it. I'm
There
buying
you go.
Buying
Perfect.
free.
So
yeah.
Shannon, when we were talking before we came live, I told her that we have a new segment at the end of the show, and it's called everybody knows the show knows what it's called. And Shannon was pretty excited to find out about this segment of the show. And then Lex said, well, I don't have anything this week. And then you could actually see her face drop to disappointment. So Lex has come up with something.
I had one in my back pocket. I had one.
There you go. There you go. So Shannon's going to stick around and give hopefully her 2 cents. And so here we go. And everybody knows what it is.
It's time.
You know what? I've established that little video thing there. That is so cheesy.
Mate, we're the kings
It
of
is
cheese on this channel.
B-movie stuff right there. It's B movie. If anybody knows what B movies are, like the Thrasher movies and stuff like that.
Oh, I thought you meant the actual B movie with the cartoon B in it, because I love that.
No. I'm talking about B movies that are low budget.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what B movies are, but interesting you said that. So yeah.
Yes, chat. I watch kids movies.
There you go. Here you go. You got somebody else who's going to be purchasing your book.
Well done, Matt.
Thank you.
Just be careful. Matt has a habit of copying things.
Yes.
Oh no.
Onto
Yeah.
you,
Oh yeah.
Matt.
Matt has a real problem with copyright.
He stole my questions.
Yeah. Oh, here it is. The big bottle. Lex is getting ready.
Oh, I'm ready. This is
The
a
big
fun
bottle
one.
of Dr. Pepper. We haven't seen it all show. What's going on?
I've been drinking it throughout the show, Brian. There's a
Were
comment
you?
in there. Yeah.
I didn't even notice. What the?
There was a comment about it when you put it on the screen. It said, and Lex, you have a giant bottle of soda. Because I had it here.
Yeah. So for the new people in the room, Tell them how many liters of Dr. Pepper you drink a week.
On average, about 14.
Yeah.
And I'm still not really fat yet. And I'm not diabetic yet either.
14 liters of Dr. Pepper a week.
Yeah, 14 liters of Dr. Pepper, about 40 to 60 grams of tobacco, about 5 liters of Monster a week. And not to mention the countless amounts of coffee I drink, about 8 cups a day.
56 liters a month. That's insane.
It's on average. It's not every week. Like, what day is it today? Sunday.
Okay, so let me ask you this then.
This is only my 4th bottle this week.
Okay, even still, 4.
And this.
4 bottles. So.
And this.
So you don't know the background of this comment. Lex, long story short, Lex has a headset that looks like it's come from McDonald's drive-through. So that's where the McDonald's. That's where the McDonald's reference comes up. Yeah. What's that?
I wouldn't have even put that together.
Yeah, that started last year. I think Rob started that from.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
And then he did something really, really super funny. He did this.
What do you? Which has got to be the most. That's like the most creative thing that anyone could ever do to my thumbnails. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was hilarious. So if you're ever watching our show and you see the McDonald's reference, that is the reason why. Yeah. That is, it's hilarious. It really is. So, anyways, other than that, your faker of the week.
It's a nice one. It's a new channel. You might not have heard of them, Brian. They're called Project Fear.
I have.
You have. So this is what is now. This was Destination Fear.
Isn't that Destination Fear?
Yep. And obviously their show got canned. So now they've moved over to YouTube, and with only a trailer, hit 700,000 subscribers or 7,000 subscribers or something like that. And then they're doing this great charade on Twitter. They're like, "Oh, we're so good. Thank you so much for moving over to here." While you have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of little, really good paranormal channels struggling to make it past 150 because they didn't have a TV show commissioned and paid for. So, but my favorite thing about the reason why I'm calling out Project Fear today, there's 2 reasons. The first one is they've collaborated, Brian, with a big YouTuber, which again, someone like me couldn't do.
Who?
They collaborated with Sam and Colby to investigate 3 haunted hotels in the area, so we can all guarantee that everything they find is horseshit. It is so because Sam and Colby, again, called you out before. You fake your shit. We've had the owners of places you've been tell us that you do it. Yeah. So there's kind of a thing. So Project Fear gets called out for that because if you're going to collaborate with a faker, then you're obviously faking. You can't do them both. You couldn't go and do it and then be like, "Oh no, mine's absolutely real." You can trust me, folks. But here's my favorite thing they've done that I'm calling them out for. These self-made TV show people who now moved on to YouTube because their show was so bad it got cancelled. They're not apparently haven't earned enough money to do it on YouTube. Bear in mind, I pay for all my stuff myself. I pay for my locations and travel. Brian, you do as well, I'm assuming. I'm sure everyone does. Not these guys. They've started a Kickstarter fund, and they want $5,000 to give you another season. From the
wait. When they first started, they were asking for 65,000, and they
that might be
within minutes.
Yeah, so they're doing Kickstarters to pay for YouTube videos because they're not going to pay for it themselves. So people like us, who aren't getting the hundreds and hundreds of thousands of subscribers, who are putting ourselves out of pocket to go to different countries and do this stuff. You know, when you came to England, it wasn't cheap. But no, Project Fear will ask the fans to pay for their content. $300,000. Yeah.
That's what they made.
That's what they made from their fan base to make YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Which puts them in my self-estimate, that puts them in the top 3 of the scummiest channels on YouTube. Obviously, number 1 being Jody. Number 2 being Omar or Jasco, their joint. And number 3 is now going to be them, because why the fuck are you asking your fans to pay for your content on YouTube? Even if everyone gave $1, you don't ask them to do that. I find that absolutely ridiculous. You've come from a TV show, and now they're needing. It's
and I
mad.
get that, but you got to remember too, they weren't making any money from Discovery Plus.
Oh, that doesn't matter. You were
They
still on
only
TV.
made their money. They only made their money from sponsors.
Doesn't matter. They were on TV.
Yeah, they were on TV.
That's a bigger opportunity than any other person. We've done 98 episodes on this show, right?
Yes.
They're going to make more money doing one episode on YouTube if they get monetized than every single one of our guests will make this year.
Yeah, you know, the real sad thing about it is when they first got canned from Discovery Plus, everybody was messaging and saying it was Zach, it was Zach, it was Zach. Okay, it was Zach, whatever. Then people are saying, oh, I'm going to miss their show. I'm going to miss their show. I'm going to miss their show. And getting all these comments about it. People are upset. People, do you realize that they were faking their stuff? The people that continually say they don't like fakers, but they continually support a show that are faking.
And this is what I don't get. I mean, I stick to my convictions. I had to call out a friend of mine for faking YouTube. Do you remember that, Brian?
Yes.
I had to call out someone I know personally, and I've blocked them on all social media, and I unsubscribed. I don't fuck with fakers.
Yep. So, Shannon, what are your thoughts on not only what Lexus talked about with, you know, what's a good name for them? Fakination, destination, fakination, fear? Fakination fear. There you go. That's
no, destination fake, project fake, whatever you want to call
it. No, fakination fear.
They're gonna get so mad at me, but I love them.
You're
think
allowed
they are
to like
sweethearts.
them.
I've actually met.
Yeah,
I've met
I'm not
them
saying that they're
person.
not good. I'm not saying they're not good people. I never said that.
No,
but
I want to say that. So I met them. They're very sweet people. They're very, very kind. They seem genuine to me. I feel like I don't know what happened or why they got canceled or the drama behind all of that. It's none of my business personally of why. I feel bad though. I felt like if that was me, I'd be sad too. I don't know how to feel about like the whole asking people to pay for it. I mean, people wanted it. So I think that they would have been willing to pay for it whether or not they asked. I feel like people would have started that up to try and get them going because they did enjoy their show. And I think they enjoyed it because they're sweet and wholesome, you know? They're like little babes. I don't know. I think they're so cute. So I know, okay, kill me, but I love them.
That's
no,
fine.
We're not, you know, everybody's entitled to their opinion, but at the same point, they were faking their stuff. So how can we support somebody that I understand it's all entertainment and stuff like that. If they base it on entertainment and not real evidence, I wouldn't have a problem with it.
In a comment on Twitter that, yeah, they fake stuff for entertainment. They said it's entertainment. What do you expect? When one of our members was calling them out for faking stuff. And he's like, yeah, well, it's entertainment. What do you expect? They all done it. They need to make their ratings. If they showed an actual investigation and us as actual investigators know that you'll sit there for freaking 8 hours in silence where nothing happens. And then you have 15 seconds of, holy shit, what was that? You've got to make that into a show. So yeah. I get like entertainment part of it, but that is why I'm enjoying seeing all of the local teams and the homegrown, you know what I'm trying to say, regular teams not on TV doing their own things and putting their evidence out there and saying, look at this is how it's really gone. And that's really cool. I enjoy watching that kind of stuff. Okay,
so let me ask you this then. What are your thoughts on somebody, and for example, Twin Paranormal? Let's bring them up for a minute here. When they originally came up, or when they originally started their YouTube channel, they were legit. But then they started getting followers. They started getting a lot of followers, and they had to keep up with that. And that's when
No,
they started faking their videos. What do you feel about? How do you feel about those type of groups?
No, I think they're assholes if they're gonna put something out there. But like, I feel like don't fake shit. Don't fake shit. It's not fair to people. And I know it's like a double-edged sword what I'm saying, but you're getting a certain entertainment thing out of these production funded things on network TVs. But when you have your stuff and you're trying to get to that level by faking shit, that's pathetic. And you should be called out on that.
Okay.
Our team is very hard on our evidence. We don't appreciate people faking stuff at all. It's disgusting. It's disturbing, and you need to get better.
So I already have it up because I know what he sent you, and I already.
I'm not doing that. I'll just say. So my question now is this: with Project Fear, if they put fake content on YouTube, do they lose credibility then?
I think sorry.
Yeah, because there's nothing on the YouTube page that says it's going to be entertainment only. And the people I've spoke to, they don't deny it's fake to most people. So whether or not it is, I don't care if they're faking it. I don't. I care if they claim they aren't. That's what pisses me off. So if they were to start faking videos on YouTube, does that not constitute them being the thing you're talking about? Like I said, like I know loads of these groups are nice. Like when I called out Twin Paranormal a few weeks ago, I like their channel. I watch their videos all the time because I try to figure out how they're doing it. But I don't like that they're saying it's real when it's not. It's the bit I disagree with. I fundamentally disagree with it.
Right.
And all they have to do to rectify it is put it in the About Me section on their YouTube page that it's fake. And that's all I'll ask for. And so far, none of them do it. So should Project Fear put it in their description then if they're faking it then?
So Shannon redeemed herself for what she said after. Before the stuff, we'll just forget about that stuff. But she came back and redeemed herself and said what she said. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. No, I appreciate your honesty and you're right. And I'm when we do the fakers thing, we're not telling people to go over to that channel and start calling them out and start saying you're a faker. You know, we're not telling people to do that. We just want people to be aware that when you're watching these videos, take everything with a grain of salt and have the understanding that they're more than likely faking their videos. And we just want people to understand that there has been some very, very popular YouTubers that have come out and said yes. For example, Joe from Urban Explorations, he came out and admitted that he fakes his videos. And that's great. But I think, and really it's hard to control because really these, like a lot of these big ones that have 2 or 3 million, there should be something in their description or they're about saying that it's for entertainment purposes only. This is not real. Unfortunately, you can't control that. So we just want people to be aware that a lot of these people are faking their videos. And I'm not saying that Destination Fear or whatever they're called now, I'm not saying they're not nice people. I'm sure they're very, very nice people. I'm sure they are. But the problem I have, this is where the problem I have is people that constantly say they hate people that fake videos. They hate them. They don't want to watch them. But yet I see comments coming down my timeline on Facebook that I know people that have actually said they don't like fakers, but then they're saying that they are massively upset that this Destination Fear is canceled. And they were assuming that they were real, and they're not. And
I mean, they don't even ride in the bus they show themselves in on the show.
Like
they're on a separate bus.
I found it's not the RV. They're the one that has their faces on it. They're not allowed in that RV, so they ride in a complete other, like a smaller one. They were never allowed in the bigger one. So, anyways, I am glad we got Shannon's 2 cents there. That was great. And,
well, I'll tell you what,
whoever was walking by there, hi, and whoever that was,
just say hi. They say hi.
Hi. So yeah, So it was fantastic having you on the show today. Oh, before you go, I do have to show something that Rob sent. He sent another
I've seen
picture.
it, yeah.
He sent another picture. There you go. What is going on with me here? What?
I don't know. I mean, that's our after midnight show. That one.
What is going on?
I don't
I look
know.
like I got 3 pounds of makeup on. Yeah, thank you so much that you came on today. I'm sorry that you had that little thing happen to you in the middle of the show, and I hope you're feeling better. What's that?
That was so embarrassing. No, I feel so much better. That happens sometimes. That's what happens, and I've had that happen on other interviews before too. Not all the time.
What is the white light that keeps on happening?
You saw it as well, yeah?
her?
Yeah, I saw that there next.
Yeah,
to
we keep on seeing a
left arm.
white flash. I don't know. Maybe it's a car driving past and it's causing a flash on the headboard. But there's a white flash that keeps on happening on the headboard.
I don't. It could be the light. Coming.
Oh God! Now Matt's sending something. What is going on with you people today? I don't see anything, Matt. Bryan, you should check your messenger. I did. Well, I don't see anything from you. Anyways, other than that, thank you so much for coming on today's show. I really appreciate you sharing your story. And people, if you want to follow Shannon, her links are in the description. And again, if you want to purchase her book, you can go through the links that she gave me. And also you can go to the Global Ghost Hunt website and click to purchase her book. So again, I'm going to say my goodbyes. And thank you for coming on today's show. And really appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Lex?
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and talking to you today. And I look forward to reading your book. And I look forward to seeing the new ones when they come out down the line as well. And for you and your team to have the best of luck this year in in the next adventures and next places you go to. And hopefully you'll be able to get that multi-million-dollar dreamboat of going to all the castles in the UK and Ireland. But thank you very much for your time tonight. It's been lovely.
Yeah. So if you can just wait in the back for a few minutes, we'll be there in a minute. And yeah. There we go. So that was great. That was interesting. And you know, the funny thing is during the whole show, I kept on seeing things. Yeah. Like I saw that white. I saw the shadow looking at her. It would be her left shoulder. I saw the flashing keep on happening on the headboard, which I thought was really weird. And it was even during the whole show.
And it was weird that I had the two lights, the white go across, the white come across my face. Yeah,
like what the hell is going on today? Something in the air. So basically, it saw you, Lex, and it went through the computer or the Shannon's phone and came out of your laptop. That's what's going on.
Probably knew I was going to say something horrible about another TV show or YouTuber. It was trying to warn me.
We can never say enough about those people.
No, but you know what? I like the fact that someone was on that likes them. I think I like it when that happens. I think it's because I don't like being. I know it sounds like I enjoy attacking people, but I don't. But because that's not what it is. I'm just trying to make people aware that it's not real. But it was cool to have someone on who had the opposing view to me, which is very rare. And obviously, again, no hate to the channel or whatever. Just admit it if you're faking it.
Now, I wonder if she would have had a different opinion if she'd never met them before.
Well, that's the thing. If you know them personally, it's different. And that's the people I talk about, I've never met them.
I'm sure they're great.
I've asked to change that again. I always invite them on the show to
I'd love to have them on the show,
and they never do it. If you want to give me a rebuttal, join the show.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, peeps. I want to thank everybody that came into the show today to watch Shannon. I want to thank Shannon again for coming on today's show. I want to thank my good-looking partner over here for showing up on time today. And yeah, what's that? I'm
pointing at the yes. Okay. I know it's me.
So I'm going to say my goodbyes. We're going to say a week and a half, 2 weeks away? No, a week and a half away till the Global Ghost Hunt.
Yep.
So I'm not sure if we're going to have a show next week. If we do, obviously I'll post it. But and if we don't, we'll be back in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks.
And we'll have a lot to talk about there.
Yeah, we'll have a lot to talk about. So yeah, Global Ghost Hunt coming up on the 4th. The first team that will be shown on the Global Ghost Hunt, who was in the room today, was the Patrol. They will be starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 8 o'clock their time. But yeah, so God, what are we? We're
11 days away.
11 days away. Good Lord. So a year has gone by very, very quickly. So anyways, again, people, thanks for coming in the room today. I'm going to say my goodbyes, and I hope that everybody has a great week.
Lovely. Thank you very much in the chat. Thank you to Shannon. And most importantly, thank you, Bryan, for making this show possible. We'll see you next time. Stay safe. Stay spooky.